For decades, the FIFA World Cup has been football's defining international event. Every 4 years, domestic competitions take a back seat as national teams become the focus of the sport. For 1 month, billions of people around the world follow the same tournament. The World Cup has long been football's closest equivalent to a global festival. As preparations continue for World Cup 2026, however, concerns are emerging about whether the tournament is becoming less accessible to the supporters who have traditionally formed its core. The issue is not stadium construction. It is not television audiences. It is not sponsorship revenue. The concern is whether attending and fully experiencing the tournament is becoming increasingly difficult for ordinary football fans. If you're new here, subscribe for more analysis of the major issues shaping football around the world. On paper, World Cup 2026 represents an unprecedented expansion. For the first time, the tournament will feature 48 national teams instead of 32. There will be 104 matches hosted across 3 countries: the United States, Canada, and Mexico. More teams will participate, more matches will be played, and more supporters will have the opportunity to engage with the tournament. From FIFA's perspective, this expansion reflects the continued growth of the sport. The organization expects the tournament to generate record revenues, with projections of approximately $13 billion during the current cycle. FIFA maintains that these revenues help fund football development programs around the world. There is a clear rationale behind that position. The World Cup has become one of football's most important economic drivers, and the revenues generated by a single tournament often support football projects across multiple countries. The key issue, however, is not whether the tournament is growing. It is whether that growth is making participation more difficult for supporters. One of the earliest concerns involves cost. The traditional World Cup experience often involves supporters following their national team across multiple cities, spending several weeks inside the tournament environment, and sharing that experience with fans from around the world. That experience has never been inexpensive. However, many observers believe World Cup 2026 could become the most expensive World Cup supporters have faced. Ticket prices have become a major topic of discussion. Travel costs across North America can be substantial, and accommodation prices in host cities typically rise during major sporting events. Unlike tournaments hosted within a relatively compact geographical area, World Cup 2026 will be spread across a large portion of North America. That significantly changes the financial calculations for supporters. A fan may need to travel from Mexico City to Los Angeles, from Los Angeles to Kansas City, or from Kansas City to New York, depending on their team's progression through the tournament. The distances involved are unlike those experienced at most previous World Cups. FIFA's position is that demand for tickets and attendance remains exceptionally strong. Tournament officials have repeatedly pointed to unprecedented levels of interest from supporters around the world. That argument has merit. When demand significantly exceeds supply, prices tend to rise. At the same time, many supporters are asking a different question: who can realistically afford to attend? That concern extends beyond ticket sales and into the broader experience of the tournament. If attending the World Cup increasingly becomes a luxury experience, it raises questions about the supporter culture that has traditionally defined the competition. Football tournaments are shaped not only by matches and stadiums, but also by the supporters who travel to them. Recent World Cups have provided numerous examples. Argentina's support in Qatar, Morocco's remarkable following, Mexico's traveling fan base, the Netherlands' distinctive orange presence, Brazil's atmosphere, and Japan's supporters cleaning stadiums after matches all became part of the tournament's identity. These moments contribute to atmosphere, memory, and culture. They are part of what makes the World Cup distinct from other football competitions. Concerns about accessibility therefore extend beyond finances and into the character of the event itself. Travel presents another challenge. World Cup 2026 will involve 16 host cities across 3 countries and multiple time zones. The scale creates logistical challenges for broadcasters, national teams, and supporters alike. Fans hoping to follow their team throughout the tournament may face multiple flights, repeated accommodation bookings, and significant time commitments away from work and family responsibilities. The concern is not simply that travel may be difficult. It is that fewer supporters may be able to experience the tournament in the way previous generations of fans have experienced World Cups. Questions of access extend beyond cost and travel. Visa requirements and border procedures have also become part of the discussion surrounding the tournament. The World Cup has historically been presented as football's most inclusive event, bringing together supporters from every region of the world. Various fan organizations have expressed concerns that supporters from some countries may face additional administrative barriers when attempting to attend matches. These concerns include visa procedures, travel restrictions, and uncertainty surrounding entry requirements. For some supporters, attending the tournament may involve challenges that extend beyond football itself. This creates a difficult tension. The World Cup is intended to be a global event, yet some supporters worry that practical barriers could limit participation. FIFA has emphasized that immigration policy remains the responsibility of host governments and that the organization does not control visa decisions. That distinction is important. From the perspective of supporters, however, the practical outcome remains the same if attending the tournament becomes more complicated. Accessibility increasingly appears to be one of the defining issues surrounding World Cup 2026. If you're enjoying the documentary, leaving a like helps support the channel. The discussion becomes broader when considering the identity of the tournament itself. Historically, many World Cups developed a strong sense of place. France in 1998, Germany in 2006, South Africa in 2010, and Brazil in 2014 each created a distinct tournament atmosphere that became part of football history. World Cup 2026 will be structured differently. It will be spread across 3 countries, multiple cultures, and different administrative systems. That arrangement creates opportunities, but it also introduces new challenges. Some football historians have questioned whether supporters will experience the tournament as a single, unified event or as a collection of separate host city experiences connected through broadcasting and travel networks. This is not simply a cultural question. Atmosphere influences memory, memory influences legacy, and legacy often shapes how tournaments are remembered. The largest World Cup ever organized is therefore also facing questions about how cohesive the overall experience will feel. Environmental concerns have added another dimension to the discussion. The expansion from 32 teams to 48 teams increases travel demands across the tournament. Researchers have warned that emissions associated with the competition could exceed those of previous World Cups, largely because of the distances involved between venues. FIFA has noted that many existing stadiums are being used rather than constructing entirely new facilities. That is a significant point in the organization's defense of the tournament's environmental approach. Critics, however, argue that transportation requirements create their own environmental costs. The debate highlights a broader reality. Tournament expansion creates trade-offs. A larger World Cup allows more countries to participate and gives more supporters the opportunity to see their national team compete on football's biggest stage. At the same time, larger tournaments inevitably introduce greater complexity. That complexity can affect logistics, costs, accessibility, and the overall supporter experience. None of this suggests that World Cup 2026 is failing. Commercially, it may become the most successful World Cup ever staged. Television audiences are expected to be substantial. Sponsors remain heavily invested. Governments continue supporting preparations. The football itself is likely to produce memorable moments. The central issue is more subtle. The tournament is expanding in scale faster than it is becoming easier for supporters to experience. Those are not necessarily the same thing. For decades, one of FIFA's greatest achievements was creating the perception that the World Cup belonged to football supporters around the world. That connection helped make the competition unique. The challenge facing the organization is preserving that sense of ownership within a tournament that continues to grow in size, cost, and complexity. Supporters have historically accepted long journeys, difficult logistics, and significant personal expense in order to follow their teams. The greater concern emerges when fans begin to feel excluded from the experience itself. This is why the discussion surrounding World Cup 2026 extends beyond individual issues such as ticket prices, travel distances, or visa procedures. Taken together, these concerns raise a larger question about the future direction of football's most important tournament. Will World Cup 2026 be remembered primarily as the most ambitious and globally connected tournament in football history? Or will it be remembered as the moment when the scale of the event began to challenge its accessibility? That debate is likely to continue as the tournament approaches. The World Cup has never appeared stronger from a commercial perspective. At the same time, some supporters feel further removed from the event than they have in previous generations. Football has always depended on the people who travel, follow their teams, and create the atmosphere that defines major tournaments. The challenge for FIFA is ensuring that those supporters remain at the center of the World Cup experience. The tournament can continue to grow. The more difficult task is ensuring that growth does not come at the expense of accessibility. Ultimately, that may be one of the defining questions facing the future of the World Cup.